all the people that we are working with Dynamics, it's absolutely important to share your knowledge, to share information in the community. So thank you so much for being here. I think this is working. Okay, thank you. Well, people who don't know me, my name is Antonio Gilabert. I'm the CEO in Axasure. It's well, I started up this company 7 years ago from scratch, and it's a dream came true because right now we are more than 60 people, and with a really good talent there inside with 6 MVPs in business applications, so on Power Platform. Recently, we were acquired by TechEdge Group, and with this step, we can offer more international expansion from our service as Axasure. 17 years working with Dynamics. I studied with Accepta 3.0, like black and white. But and I think I'm the oldest MVP with Dynamics AX, Dynamics Finance and Operation for the last 10 years. Again, very glad for this recognition each year. And one of the most important part for this recognition is Rincon Dynamics, a community that it started 12 years ago. Right now, we are more than 6,500 users reading, sharing, and having attention with the Dynamics 365 doubts. And of course, if you have you want to contact me, it's very easy by Twitter, Instagram, or even this is my professional email. I'm very well accompanied. Clara?
Yeah, so hello everybody. My name is Clara Seijo. I'm working in Axasure since 4 years ago as right now finance lead in the ERP in Dynamics 365. I'm also recently a teacher instructor in LinkedIn Learning. And you can see also my details here in both LinkedIn or my email. So welcome.
Okay, great. It's difficult time, as I told you before, lunchtime in some places and 12 o'clock in others. What we are going to see today, it's we are going to learn more about billing subscription or subscription billing. It's a new functionality that you can find in Dynamics 365 Finance. And the idea with this session is to know more about history, about all the IP acquisitions that Microsoft has done in the last years, and how it was this last acquisition. And of course, we try to show something real. For this reason, we are going to explain a business case, a real business case, well, simulating a real business case. And this way you can understand better the functionality and the scope that we want to show you by the product that Clara is going to show you after. So let's know more about history. I think it happened the last 4 years, this kind of acquisition with the IP. As you know, Microsoft with the one version is improving each month with new functionalities, with developing and investigation, but also they are doing acquisitions during the years. In 2018, for me, it was one of the most important years about IP acquisitions. I remember that this year it was the last face-to-face event that I was. It was in Dublin, and Mohamed Alam, that right now is not working in Dynamics as general manager in Microsoft, I think. He announced different acquisitions. One, if you remember, about vendor collaborations, or even with vendor 1099 in US. It was enhancements that they bought to Tyler Technologies. Other acquisition at that time was with Blue Horseshoe, that it has been recently acquired by Accenture, and this way we could count with advanced warehouse and transport management. And other really important at that time it was revenue recognition. Revenue recognition, it was bought in 2018, and until November 2021, it wasn't released in general availability. With this bot, what Microsoft could offer was to cover ASC, the compliance ASC 606 and IFRS 15. It was interesting, and I'm talking to you because this functionality, it's a little different like the last one, the subscription billing. You can have in both options revenue recognitions, but if you want to use both at the same time, you have to select just only one. 2019, if you remember, Dynaway had a lot of functionality about asset management with predictive operations, and finally it was bought in 2019. So it was really interesting, this module. Lease management was in 2020 by Crow. Another important acquisition, in my opinion, because we can cover loans, we can cover interest, and we can have a global vision about this functionality that it was lack of functionality. And finally, for me, the king, it's the subscription billing. I think it's really, really important because each day you can find more and more companies offering this kind of business model based on subscriptions. And it was really difficult to cover this functionality inside Microsoft Dynamics Finance. I'm going to show you how we invented, how we created options for this kind of situations. But at last, BinaryStream sold subscription billing to Microsoft. It's really interesting because at last we can have a contract entity without project modules. It's important because, of course, improve a lot the revenue recognitions, and you can have more options that we are going to see during this session. This slide, it's because it's a little confused if you look up subscription billing in any search. And maybe you can find this result, the app source, and to contact directly to BinaryStream. I don't have anything with BinaryStream, but this solution is included in finance. I think it's because something about updates. So it's not necessary to buy it. How, as consultants, as solution architects, we could offer solutions to our customers when we had these requirements, subscriptions? Well, as I told you before, at the beginning, AX Accepta, I think the name, we had only the option to create sales order and with the type subscription. If you remember, the subscription could offer a new, when you invoice the sales order had again the type of open order. And this way we could, in a small way, this option. It's true that after years, we could have this order, not too bad. In order to create templates by free text invoices, where you could offer periodically invoices each month. Well, again, with a lot of lack of functionality because subscription is more than only billing. This was the last option that we had to set up projects and to set up service subscription. You had to set up a specific agreement, and this way, with service order and with different action, we could billing with different frequency and more or less covering what a subscription means. Hopefully, we have this scheme. This scheme again is by BinaryStream. By the way, there are a lot of information about this product for the last owner, And it's very useful because the functionality hasn't changed a lot. So with this scheme, you can understand very easy the three main components. ARCB, ARKB is the advanced recurring contract billing. This is the point where you can receive data or you can set up data in order to create billing schedules. And this part is absolutely amazing because we can import, we can receive data from different third parties with different entities, and to have these data sources inside billing schedules. These billing schedules can offer 4 different types by usage. We are going to see, by the way, milestone, event types, and revenue split. And with this configuration done in Dynamics, we can create sales invoices. These sales invoices, what they need is to know the frequency and intervals in order to cover the functionality that the customer wants. In the example for today, we are going to see, for instance, an annual subscription. We are going to receive annual subscriptions, and we want to defer the incomes between months. Of course, they have improved a lot compliance. IFRS 15, ASC 606, by the multi-element revenue allocation. The name, the acronym is MERA. And this way we can cover a specific regulation outlined ASC and IFRS. The last component, when you have all this configuration done, you can create transaction posting. And the key point is if you want to defer or not defer incomes and expenses. If you don't want to non-defer items, it's very easy. The posting is direct and you don't need to do anything else. But if you want to defer, it's important to know if you want to specify criteria by a straight line or by event-based. And this way, the system finally, in both sense, is creating general journals based on the setup before. Another point, absolutely critical in this kind of business model, if you are using subscription, it's very normal to have a meeting with your CFO and to say, hey, I need to know what is going to happen in the next 6 months. I need to know the treasury and I need to know the forecast. And it's possible because the subscription has a specific amount, a specific milestone, a specific events, and you can have this information in the future, at least what you expect. And for this reason, you can find all the reporting and forecasting that is really amazing what you can find in the Workspace. So advanced revenue expense and deferral, really important, and I think really interesting in order to cover revenue recognition. This fight against revenue recognition that it was a functionality independent before. So with subscription billing, you can cover everything about deferrals. So we try to explain a business case, and more or less we can understand better where and how can we use subscription billing. We have tried to do an example with our community. It's not everything real, but you can more or less understand situation in your customers. The key point here is to offer this functionality tomorrow to your customer because it's included, and this kind of conversation makes business. Rincon Dynamics is an e-learning platform based on annual. We have annual and monthly subscriptions. It offers as a complement. This is absolutely false, but for the example is fantastic. We offer complement data storage based on the data use gigabytes. And of course, if you want to have presence in one specific workshop, you can select by demand. Our main differentiator from competitors is our training quality, Dynamics 365 content by MVPs and solution architects, and flexible billing model. What is the challenge? Right now, and this is real, we are having a lot of issues when we have annual subscriptions because as you can hire this pack in each day, in any date, we don't know when we have the next renew. And with this module, with this functionality, we can see very easy. The reporting is other thing that we are we don't have. It's a black box. So it's important to have a good reporting about recurring revenue and forecasting. And of course, if I'm receiving, imagine in annual 1,200 euros, and I want to split between 120 each month, with revenue recognition inside billing subscription, we can do in an easier way. So I think with this explanation, we can more or less understand in the requirements that we are going to cover with this demo. And this is the subscription models that this customer at Rincon Dynamics is doing. Mainly, we have the annual subscription. Maybe we have a monthly subscription, and with a specific packs. I mean, the annual subscription, internally, I need to defer the incomes in 12 months. Of course, if I'm receiving money each month, I don't need to defer the incomes. With this package, with this subscription, you can have 5 gigas per year free and 1 workshop per month free if you pay the annual subscription. If you consume more, 3 euros per giga and 10 euros per workshop. Difference between annual and monthly. The monthly, you don't have free gigas and you don't have free workshop. Just only you have to pay for this amount. What we have done about usage, because this is based on usage, we have set up a Power Automate simulating that this data about the gigas were inside Azure, and with a Power App, we receive this data and we can send directly to Dynamics 365 Finance. Today, it's FineOps Summit, and we have created a special offer. If you pay the annual subscription 100, you have everything about the annual subscription, but with this gift, welcoming pack, a cap and a t-shirt for free. And of course, you can save 20 euros just only today. So this is the model that we are going to cover today. And I think, Clara, I don't want to spend more time for your demo. And when you want.
So I'm going to share my screen now. We will see our test environment. You can see, yeah. So as Antonio explained, we have in our sample, we have 3 models of billing. So what we create is 3 models of what is called a billing schedule group. We will see that in these groups, we can define what do we want to bill. So the first group I'm having is the annual billing. Here, in each one, you can define how are you going to do the billing by default. What is your pricing method? We will see in an example later that is easy. And what is your item type that you're going to use? You can bill standard items. That means that you have items that you just include in your sales orders. You can bill by usage, as we saw in the example, or you can use by milestones. And we have 2 different options for the usage. It is reading or consumption. We will see in the example that is easily. So just to let you know, we have these 3 groups. So we are going to be creating our contracts based on this group. Here you can see that annual subscription, I have monthly. I can have one time, but we have a mix because we have in our annual subscription, we have the subscription that is once per year, but we also bill usage and the workshops monthly. That's why I can choose one of them, because at the end I will need to change it when I'm doing the contract itself. Okay, so here I have the other contract that's monthly, and here I have this welcome pack for the submit. And in this welcome pack, we will see later when we do this example, we have this submit pack. It's a milestone template. There is something really, really important for all the contract types is if you want to, first of all, invoice separate. So do you want to have one invoice per item? Or do you want also that to renew automatically or no? And when you do the renew, you can say if you want to renew for 1 month or more periods. For example, here I have a 1 month. How it works is if I have a 12-month contract, the last day that I'm doing the billing, the system create a new line. It will be 1 because I have here 1 for the renew. So each time that I do the billing for the last one, it creates automatically the next line. So once we have our groups defined, we are going to start with examples that you will see there are some setup. If you're familiar with Dynamics, you will see that there are some things that they are pretty new. I will try to explain, but knowing such a huge detail, just I want that you understand the concept. So we have here a workspace. It's called subscription billing. So this workspace is completely new from this month. So it is pretty good. And we have here some things. This is our subscription groups. So our subscription contracts. So let's create a new one. The first of all that we need to select is what type of contract are you creating? In my case, I have annual, monthly, and the welcome pack. So let's start with the annual. Of course, I need to choose my customer. This is for my customer master. And something pretty new that we don't have, we only have it in billing, in subscription for projects, but we never have something like this, like when is your billing start date? Something that is important that my billing start date can be today. It doesn't need to be the beginning of the month. So I'm going just to choose today. And the end date. Sorry. So what is this doing? This is just creating a contract. And we have a lot of information here. I like to put here a description. So this is my annual subscription contract for ERD. And you see that we have the dates from the beginning and the end of our contract. This, I would like to have the contract for 12 months, sorry, because I want to build also the workshops. I have here some information coming from the customer itself, like types of payment, method of payment. I can have here contract dates because I can have separate the contract days from the billing dates. That's quite interesting. I have here some address. As usual, it can be different, the delivery address from the billing address. Some contact information. We have some end user accounts that we can define, or the email where I want to send the invoices. And other views. Total, once we start to create the lines, we will see the total amounts, the on hold, because our contracts can be put on hold, and also we can terminate the contracts. So let's go to the lines. So here, this is a kind of sales order. I start to create my invoice lines. So I have here some items that I have created. For example, the first one is this annual subscription. Okay, I need to define what is the type of item for this item. Mm-hmm. In this case, it is a standard, and how often I'm going to bill. In this case, it is one-time billing. For the pricing, I have different options. If you see here, I cannot edit the pricing. This pricing is coming from the item master. This is the price I have defined in the as sell price. And when I choose a standard, I cannot change it. But if I choose flat, I can change it for this specific contract. Also, I have other method like tire. This is taking the prices for the price. What's the I don't remember for the pricing that you find from 10 to 20 this price, more than 20 other price, and this flag tag that is also related with the this pricing, the standard pricing definition, but this is new for this model. In this case, we will use standard.
There's a small comment about these billing schedule lines and header. It's important to understand that Dynamics 365 Finance is a tool where we are going to post ledger, taxes, analytics. It's really common to have all this information in a CRM, in Magento, in other third applications. And the good thing is that we can have this information very easy here in order to cover all these fields from other origin, from other data source.
Yeah, that's really true. So here, this item, it is my annual subscription, so I'm going to invoice once, but by default, I have set up that this is a deferred item. And also, if we check here this deferral menu, I can predefine what type of deferral I want to have. In this case, I have a template for 12 months, but I can have other templates based on my business. And I predefine always, if I choose this item, is going to have a deferral. If I check here in the view billing detail, I have only one line because I'm going to invoice for this item once. Now let's start to create the other items. So I also going to give the opportunity to use data usage. And this data usage, it is different. It's not a standard item. It is a usage item. And I can choose if I want this usage to come for a reading or for a consumption. Here, as Antonio said, our technical team has created a Power App. So here I have my Power App. It is connected to the environment. So the idea is this Power App is reading the consume and is putting the consume in the system. We will see in a second. And reading option is reading in this case. And here I'm going to invoice monthly. If I check here billing details, now it is completely different. I have a calendar for the billing based on the dates of my contract. So you see all of this. You see I have a parameter saying that I want to do the billing by period. That's why it's starting the 7th to the 30th. And then I have here the last period is only these 6 days. And I have here the columns for the consumption that we will see how it's coming from the Power App. Here it's a bit high, but I have these advanced pricing options. I think this is really the key for this new model. Here we can define if you want to have free quantities. So in our example, we say we want to give 5 gigabytes, but every 12 months. So we define here the quantity and the number of periods. I create other line now because we also offer our workshops on demand. Workshops is also usage. I also want to invoice monthly. I can even say semi-annual or quarterly as you need. And in this case, I'm going to choose here other reading method, consumption in this case, because for data use, it's normal that you start with 0 to 5 and the next month maybe you start from 5 to the next one, but for workshops, we just count how many workshops are you doing per month. And I'm also going to define the advanced pricing options. In this case, we are going to give 1 workshop for free every month. So I leave this number of periods to 1. Okay, so now our contract is ready. It is active. So we can start, first of all, because we are having this usage, we need to start to get the consumption of these items. So I'm going to jump here. I'm going to copy my contract number. And I'm going to jump to the Power Apps. And I'm going to create a new line. This is the contract ID. And I'm going to do the reading for this item. And I choose here, for example, let's think we are at the end of the month. I need to make this a bit smaller because I have. So let's say this guy do a consume for 3. Okay, so we have a flow here that is connected. This Power Apps is connected to this flow and it's coming to the system. So if I go here to my view billing details, it takes a bit.
Seconds. Hopefully.
Hopefully it's coming. Let's check the flow.
This is near real time.
It's real time, yeah. Actually, I don't see the flow coming, by the way. Yeah, 13 seconds ago, so it looks better. In execution. Okay, it says correct. So now I'm going to refresh here. Okay, so current reading, it is 3. That means that I consumed 3. But I have, remember, 5 as free quantity per year. That's why it says here, all these 3 are free, so no billing. Just to let you know, I'm going to simulate the reading for the next month. So you can see that it is not prepared. Here for the consumption, because I already used 3, now I need to put, for example, let's say this month, I consumed 4 more, so in total it is 7. And again, it takes, the Power App is coming to the flow. Okay, this time is faster. Okay, it says correct. So now if I refresh, here it is. So at the second month, based on my free quantities, I will only bill 2. And the unit price, it is 3. If I go to the other item, this other item, the workshops on demand, I'm saying it is a consumption, but it is not connected to the Power Apps. I can connect it, but I will do it manually. The difference from reading to consumption is I just say here, the first month, 3 workshops, you see 1 for free, I only billing 2. The second month, 6 workshops, I only billing 5. So this is how it works. So what's the point here? Now I need to do the billing. This is going to create sales orders because you can choose if you want to create sales orders or you want to create free text invoice. We have used sales orders, that is more powerful. And we can generate the invoicing from here, or normally you use a periodic process. I'm just going to generate from here. So I'm going to generate the invoice for the end of the month. So here we see it's going to create a sales order. And I want not only to create it, I want also to post the invoice. And my invoice date is going to be end of the month. I'm not sure why it's not taking the annual subscription, something is wrong. It's only taking nothing for the usage and the workshop. So I'm just going to generate. I don't want to lose time now checking what happened, but something went wrong. Okay, so this generates a sales order. You can see the sales order here, and you can even see the invoice number here and the invoice date. And we can navigate or not to the sales order, but it's a standard sales order with these two items. If you check invoice separate, it will create different sales orders. The other item haven't been billed, but the point is when you do a billing for an annual subscription, I'm going to open here the other screen. This creates automatically a deferral for the revenue recognition.
You can defer incomes and expenses, right?
You can defer also expenses, correct. So I'm going to show you one that is already created here for the same annual subscription. You know, always when you're in direct never works. So here at the end, it takes what is your sales order and what's the invoice, what's your item, and it creates, in my case, it was 12. So it creates this recognize you have the calendar here for the recognition, and you have a process that recognizes every month the amount you have for your invoice. Here again, you can say if it should be similar for all periods, so it should be based on the dates. All of that is very powerful.
Completely different if you have had experience with revenue recognition directly in sales order.
Correct, yeah. And you can see here everything from the same workspace. You have the billing schedules. This is how you're going to do your billing. And this is the deferral based on your billing schedules. Here, when we enter in the deferral, we can see the billing schedule number. That's the contract. So everything is linked together. So let's go to do the second example now. It is to create a monthly contract. We choose our customer. And again, we need to put the billing date, the beginning, how many periods. So now, I don't know why it doesn't open automatically the contract. It is the same. The difference is the frequency is monthly. I also have this renew automatically. And now I'm going to start to include the lines.
There is a question that I think it's interesting to cover right now, Bilur. Why not to use the project module but the billing? Well, if you are using project module, it's because you need to recover information about transaction from hours, from expenses. You have you need to create a specific project with working process, with time and material. And it's possible to cover billing with the project module using the service module with billing with subscription service. But it's really, really more complex, and you don't have all the functionality that has been released inside just only with this module. If you remember, when you have to build in project module, you need to set up categories, you need to set up items, you need to create invoice proposals, and this way it's more direct. It's an absolutely other different business model, very fast. Normally, if you are using or the customer needs a subscription billing, it's because the volume of transaction is huge. And if you need to create each project, imagine Netflix. I'm absolutely convinced that it's not by project, because a project means a lot of things. You can create, you can have a direct contact with fixed assets, customers, with vendors, with production, with services, with a lot of functionality. this way we are covering a small point of view that it's subscriptions. We can have deferred, that it's very easy. If you need to defer incomes in projects, the only way is creating a fixed price and to create estimations. And manually, it's absolutely crazy. So for all these things, you don't have to propose project modules for these kind of scenarios. Sorry for the interruption.
No, but it's a really good point. Also, it is not that easy because I implement service subscription before for companies that they are doing the monthly billing. And for example, the scenarios where you are starting the contract in the middle of the month, it's not that easy to manage the price, and the price is not always what you expect. So if you have a service subscription, that I think is very useful for what it should be, if you have projects and you have something that is very specific. But here, I think the powerful is what Antonio said. You can defer revenue. You can also, we will see, you can recognize the revenue before the billing. That's something you cannot do at all in projects. And also you can have all these different scenarios where you can combine a monthly with defer with all together in the same contract. So I think it's
even marketing campaigns. It's very common to have the first 3 consumes are free, or I'm going to give you this point. In project module, you can't do that. And here it's very easy because you can have directly in pricing the possibility to say, from now on for 3 components, I'm going to invoice, but the first 3 are free.
In projects, you can have discounts, for example. That's a huge point. And here you are using all the pricing from items. That is not the same as from projects. So yes, you can continue using that one, of course, but that's quite
absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do quickly this example. So here again, we are going to invoice now monthly, and you say you are billing monthly, and you see here or your billing detail. In this case, you will have the 12. So here I can add more items because I can join standard items with usage. That's the same. We can do this, what I just mentioned, that you can create the contract now. But for example, you are not going to invoice until later in 3 months or something. So you have this functionality that is the unbilled revenue processing. That is also pretty cool. And it creates a journal with the revenue for this unbilled revenue accounts that you define. So everything you can define per item or per item groups. Here I'm doing everything one by one, but of course you have a periodic process to run this in batch. So you can run your billing every month and the system do it for you. Here it is the same. I can just review the invoice, so I can generate the invoice with the same process, create the sales order and post. So the monthly subscription, it is similar. I can add here the other items, but there is no different. In this case, the difference is I'm not going to put like nothing for free, but at the end it's going to use the same. The last example I'm going to, I don't know, you want to ask something?
Yeah, I was laughing about the last question by Lilian. For me, and it's my opinion, there are 2 bad things about this solution. The first one, it's everything is internal method. So it means that you can't extend the solutions by yourself. So it's the new strategy by Microsoft to giving us cloud solutions. Or it's an option, and right now the last release are doing in that sense. And I think it's going to be difficult because normally, as you know, each customer has a specific details that we can't cover, at least with finance and operation. We can have Power Automate, Power Apps, or whatever. And the other point, and I wish, and I think that it's going to happen in the future, but right now it doesn't work and it's not included. If you are using billing, subscription billing, you can't you can use inside project module. So what we are watching, what we are understanding today is sales order with products, service or stockable, but products with product group, but not with categories. That is the main key for having all this functionality inside project module. So you can have projects, using projects in your environment, yes. You can use billing subscription in the same environment, yes, but you can't have both in using the configuration inside project module.
Yeah, the point here is the BinaryStream tool. It was connected with projects, so I expect to have projects soon because it's something that it was, and during the previews we saw it, but I think Microsoft is working on that. I think it's not that easy maybe to join sales order with categories and all the billing method, because at the end, remember, billing in projects is based on invoice proposals. Exactly. It's not based on the same, but I think it will be something coming, hope soon.
Yes. Yeah. Great question, Lilian.
Yeah. I'm going to create just the last example just to show you how it works when you have this milestone. So it is our welcome pack. So I'm creating a new contract for this Michael Jackson. So here we can define what is called the milestone templates. Just to show you. So my template at the end, I create, it has 3 items. It's the annual subscription. In this case, it is $100 or euros. And here for free, we have the t-shirt and we have the cap. So when I create my lines here in my contract, and I select this item, the system, it is like a list of materials, but it's not a list of materials. Why? Bill of materials, sorry. Because this is based on how do you want to recognize the revenue? It's not based on if you're selling this bottle with this glass is a bill of materials. No, this is how do you want to recognize the revenue? And so that's why you have this milestone allocation where you can define. So I'm selling everything for 100, and in this case, the charge is only for the annual subscription and the rest is for free. But you have really huge functionality related how to split your revenue, how to recognize your revenue. Imagine that you are selling a laptop with service, monthly service. How much you want to recognize in the beginning, how much do you want to defer at the end. So all of this is coming together. So here you see we have this pack that includes all of this, and the billing at the end, it is the same. So I use the same process to generate my sales orders and my invoices. We have the workspace, as I mentioned before, and this workspace has some views.
Again, Lilian is asking, so they are 2 standalone functionality? Yes. I have a customer that do both project, sales order, and service level agreement. Yes, because your customer is using project module and service module. And this is other absolutely different. And currently manage SLAs by Excel.
By Excel, yeah. So here we have, this is the monthly recurring billing. So you have this, and also to see your revenue. I'm having some issues with these other tabs. Actually, it takes some time until it opens. So I'm not going to show it because it takes some time. I hope Microsoft improve a bit this workspace. But I think the best is to have here in this overview all your active billing schedules and all your deferral revenues and the rest. So I don't know, Antonio, want to see something else, but I think this is the overview.
I'm trying to review questions. Adrian is asking, how about items purchased from third parties? Are any purchase order created? Well, if you need to have purchase order inside an entity, is not subscription billing, is project module. Because you need to have the transactions about expenses with the specific categories, and you want to know the profit and loss per project. It's not possible to create with subscription billing any purchase order, yeah, and less from third parties. So other important part that Clara has shown is the reporting. If you are using projects, it's not possible to have the MR report and to see how your company is having the future incomes. And of course, this part is synchronized with Treasury, with bank management, and we can have a forecast Treasury for the future. So
yeah, we have this workspace, but we also have here some quartzite reports where you can see what are the contracts that are going to be renewed or total amount for your contract. So you have here several views. Yeah, and here you have the summary, the workspace.
Exactly. So this has been our presentation open if you have any questions. And it's been a pleasure to share this content with you guys. And it's really new. It's true that it was an acquisition, so the solution works properly. I think you can find details. There is one guy, I don't remember the name, in Jammer, posting questions, and he's improving a lot this solution. So thank you to that person.
But I think it's true what June is saying, that the projects model is quite complex. So it's not that easy to create. Also, remember, we can use this creating free text invoice. So if you don't even want to use items, you can use free text invoice and the system will create it for you. And this is more powerful than invoice template that, okay, they were so under my opinion, but it's true that the model projects is not that easy.
Yeah, I think typical scenario is telco industry, where you have a small subscription for your telephone, for your TV, or for either your insurance, and you receive a huge amount of information from third applications. You can import directly in Dynamics, and at last we can control all this information in finance. But for me, it doesn't make sense to configure manually in finance. For me, the potential for having this solution working is to receive all this data from a CRM, from Salesforce, for Dynamic CRM, or for commerce, for point of sale, for everything that you have direct input with your customers.
Yeah, also I think that this is going
with subscription, exactly.
Yeah. So like 10 years ago, the only like recurring billing you were receiving was like the phone.
Yeah.
But now you have Netflix, you have Spotify, you have the gym, everything is monthly billing.
The car.
Yeah, if you have a renting, everything. So I think this is coming with almost all the business have something similar. Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be very useful.
Very useful.
Very well. So, Ras, thank you so much again for your help, for your time, for making this kind of events, and I wish you have enjoyed.
Thank you, Antonio and Clara. Thank you so much for giving the insights into this new feature, which Microsoft were actually hoping to share, but we were told that, look, Antonio and Clara will be sharing this information first. So we want to really thank you for giving the deep dive into this new feature. I think you've also answered all the questions as well. So thank you so much as well for answering everyone's questions at the same time. So since we've got a couple of minutes left, Antonio, do you have any announcements you want to make to the community, yourself or Clara? Want to make any announcements to the community on any upcoming things?
Well, I think Demian doesn't allow me to say more, but he is working on the new event in Spain, really important. I don't know if it's going to be after summer, I don't know exactly the date, but yes, we are working with the last Dynamic Saturday that now is B-Summit, sorry. So yes, we are looking forward to stand up in front of people and to interact with other guys, with other companies, and to see your face, because we are worn out to have this kind of online session. So for this reason, we have decided to do in this way, in this format, just to be a little different.
Well, thank you so much. It definitely is very refreshing, and we are very, very looking forward to seeing you all again, Antonio and Clara and the rest of the community. So once again, thank you so much, Antonio and Clara, for this great insight of this new feature.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest. Yeah,
Bye.
enjoy.
Excellent. So that was Antonio.